What if I told you that some of the wealthiest, most developed states in America are turning into modern ghost towns? Not because of war or disaster, but because of retail. Sounds insane, right? But while everyone's focused on tech booms and stock markets, a silent retail collapse is wiping out entire communities, and no one's talking about it. We're not just talking about the loss of a few local shops. We're talking about thousands of store closures, disappearing grocery stores, and cities where $25 strawberries are now the norm. Imagine living in a place where you have to drive 45 minutes just to buy milk or medicine. That's not a bad week. It's the new reality for millions. In this video, you'll discover the top 10 states being crushed by this hidden economic crisis. You'll see the numbers, the faces, the neighborhoods, and why this consumer crisis is bigger than anyone's admitting. And the craziest part? These shutdowns aren't hitting just poor areas. They're erasing the middle class, deepening economic inequality, and creating food deserts in places you'd never expect. Ready to see what's really going on? What if I told you that some of the wealthiest, most developed states in America are turning into modern ghost towns? Not because of war or disaster, but because of retail. Sounds insane, right? But while everyone's focused on tech booms and stock markets, a silent retail collapse is wiping out entire communities, and no one's talking about it. We're not just talking about the loss of a few local shops. We're talking about thousands of store closures, disappearing grocery stores, and cities where $25 strawberries are now the norm. Imagine living in a place where you have to drive 45 minutes just to buy milk or medicine. That's not a bad week. It's the new reality for millions. In this video, you'll discover the top 10 states being crushed by this hidden economic crisis. You'll see the numbers, the faces, the neighborhoods, and why this consumer crisis is bigger than anyone's admitting. And the craziest part? These shutdowns aren't hitting just poor areas. They're erasing the middle class, deepening economic inequality, and creating food deserts in places you'd never expect. Ready to see what's really going on? You can't fix a problem without first understanding what's fueling the fire. And in this case, the flames are coming from every direction. Operating costs are soaring, profit margins are shrinking, and retailers are facing an impossible math problem. Rent has gone through the roof, inflation's hit even the basics, and foot traffic has all but disappeared in many areas. This isn't just bad luck, it's a recipe for collapse. Meanwhile, the digital world is quietly replacing the physical one. AI is automating roles that once sustained families. Online giants are luring shoppers away with convenience, even if it means sacrificing community connection. Retailers, driven by cold profit algorithms, are making brutal decisions. Shut down the store, save the balance sheet. But in doing so, they're fueling job losses and deepening economic inequality. Behind every decision to close a store is a human story, one that often gets lost in spreadsheets and shareholder meetings. The people left behind aren't just losing jobs, they're losing anchors. And this isn't just theory, it's playing out across 10 very real states, each with its own unique twist on this growing retail collapse. Let's take a look at how this unfolds one region at a time. When a store disappears, it's not just merchandise that vanishes, it's people. People who had jobs, daily routines, and social connections tied to those spaces. Suddenly, thousands find themselves unemployed, facing a job market that's either oversaturated or outright hostile. There's no parachute, no warning, just silence. Job losses hit hardest when there's no backup plan. For the elderly, the vulnerable, and low-income families, the aftermath of store closures goes beyond inconvenience. It's isolation, missed medications, and skipped meals. Some are forced to downgrade to processed foods or travel hours for basic needs. Others rely on overpriced convenience stores or hope that delivery apps even reach their neighborhoods. This isn't progress. It's regression with a digital smile. When essential services vanish, dignity erodes. The sense of being part of a community fades, replaced by survival mode. You don't just adapt, you shrink your expectations. This is the heart of the community impact we're talking about, and it's something numbers alone can't capture. But if you think this is just personal hardship, wait until you see what happens to the communities themselves. New York has become a stark example of this crisis. With over 1,000 store closures, many from major chains, the state's retail sector is bleeding. The cost of living is twice the national average, and over 7.5% of retail workers are unemployed. For the elderly and those without internet access, this is more than inconvenience. It's a life-altering shift. Communities are shrinking from within. California isn't far behind. In 2024 alone, the state saw more than 1,500 store closures, the highest in the nation. Prices on consumer goods surged by 9.1%, and families now spend $338 a week for bare minimum groceries. In some areas, a box of strawberries costs $25. For many, online shopping isn't even an option. This isn't luxury inflation. It's a full-blown consumer crisis. Texas, Mississippi, and Illinois tell a story of forgotten towns and abandoned lives. Texas towns are losing access to basic needs. Mississippi's rural counties, 40% of them, have turned into food deserts. And in Illinois, even Walgreens and CVS are pulling out despite being headquartered there. One by one, people are being pushed to the edge. And yet, what does this mean for the people caught in the middle? Hit that like button and subscribe, because the real impact goes far beyond economics. Let's talk numbers, not to overwhelm, but to reveal just how massive this crisis really is. In California, 1,500 store closures happened in a single year. Mississippi and Pennsylvania, over 700 each. These aren't outliers. They're symptoms of a deep, growing wound. And when 40% of Mississippi's rural counties lack access to grocery stores, you're not just dealing with inconvenience. You're facing a structural failure. Consider this: a 9.1% hike in consumer goods in California, while the average paycheck barely moves. In New York, the retail sector's unemployment has crossed 7.5%. Meanwhile, $25 strawberries? That's not just absurd, it's symbolic. It's the canary in the coal mine. It tells us that ordinary families are getting priced out of basic life. These aren't just statistics, they're signals. Indicators that something foundational is breaking. Because when basic sustenance becomes a luxury, you've got more than inflation. You've got economic inequality baked into the system. And if this is happening in the wealthiest states, what does that say about the bigger picture? Retail stores weren't just places to buy shampoo or cereal, they were social anchors. You'd run into neighbors, share gossip, grab a coffee. It was where life happened. Now, that buzz is gone. With every shuttered storefront, neighborhoods lose something invisible but deeply felt: a sense of place and purpose. Crime creeps in where community fades out. Abandoned plazas become hotspots for vandalism, while local property values plummet. No one wants to live near ghost blocks. And without these public gathering spots, there's less reason to go outside, to engage, to belong. The consumer crisis isn't just about stuff, it's about soul. And this unraveling of community spirit isn't a theory, it's measurable. It's in the way real estate tanks. It's in the way kids grow up in empty streets. It's in the loneliness of elderly folks who no longer have anywhere to walk. But if this is the emotional toll, what are the numbers really telling us? If you've made it this far, congratulations. You now know something most people don't. You've seen the hidden layers of a retail collapse that's not just about businesses, but about lives, dignity, and the very soul of our communities. You've explored 10 states where job losses aren't just statistics. They're dinner table conversations, tough choices, and empty shelves. So let me ask you, has your neighborhood changed? Are you starting to connect the dots between that closed pharmacy, the rising prices, and the silence in once busy shopping centers? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might just be the missing piece. Someone else needs to see the full picture. Knowledge like this doesn't reach everyone, but it does reach the people who are curious, conscious, and committed to staying informed, just like you. If you want to be part of the small circle that sees beyond the headlines and into the truth behind economic inequality, food deserts, and the consumer crisis, then don't just walk away. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because the next video, it could change everything you thought you knew. Here's where we zoom out and get real. Why are even wealthy states, places overflowing with innovation and capital, bleeding retail stores? How do we get to a point where entire communities are left to fend for themselves while shareholder profits break records? These aren't just questions, they're warnings. When healthcare and food become inaccessible in your zip code, it's not just your bank account that's under threat, it's your humanity. What does it mean when a person can't buy medicine without a 40-minute drive? Or when they're choosing between groceries and gas? This isn't about preference, it's about survival. Can online shopping, drones, and apps really replace the physical heartbeat of local commerce? Can an algorithm offer a smile at checkout or help you when your car declines? These are the questions that keep economists and everyday folks up at night. But there's one more layer we haven't explored yet, and it might be the most important of all. We're not here to assign blame. We're here to start a conversation. And that conversation starts with you. Share your story in the comments. Have you lost a neighborhood store? Do you feel your community shifting? Your voice could echo across thousands of others. This is how change starts, with stories that refuse to stay silent. Everything we've shared is based on public data, human experiences, and visible patterns. This isn't fiction, it's fact. And facts need witnesses. The more we talk about it, the more likely we are to be heard. Don't let this just be another video you scroll past. Let it be the one you talk about over dinner. If you're still here, it means you care. So take the next step. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon. That one click could keep you informed about stories that the headlines bury. Because the more you know, the more you grow, and this is just the beginning.